And now the Hansons and Hiatus podcast with Nate and Alexis.
Happy Friday, fuckers. It is episode 58 of the Hansons on Hiatus podcast. I am your host, Nate, and this is my wife, Alexis.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And don't forget to support the podcast. buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. You can buy us some virtual beers, and we will drink them all virtually, but in real life. And this past week, Jose, one of our favorite listeners, bought us 20 beers.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so that should get us through the weekend, or maybe Friday at least.
Thank you so much, Jose, and his family.
Yes,
we love you guys.
Yeah. And also, follow, like, subscribe, tell your friends, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, iTunes, Google Podcasts, at Hansons on Hiatus. Oh, man, it is taking a minute to get this recording started because we were sitting down already, and then our maintenance guy came.
Yep.
And had to, I don't know, was he doing something in the shower? He comes every, month to, put some junk in the shower head, I guess, because I think we have hard water, right?
Very hard water. Lots of minerals. It gets gunky and, just not as, the water pressure, you can tell when it gets lighter. So he came to fix that and check out the AC, get it going for the summer.
Yeah, so then he left and we're like, all right, okay, let's do this. And right when we're about to start recording, boom, power goes out.
Yep.
All right, so, which I guess technically we could do it without power. We just have to hope my my laptop didn't die.
Yeah,
or doesn't die in that
time. Is the laptop charged? And then would people be able to see us? Because our little studio is pretty dark.
Yeah, so then I came back on and I was like, okay, we're try this, take two. So take three maybe.
Yeah.
And try it again. And then the power goes out again. We're like, what the fuck? And it wasn't even raining that bad, but I think they were doing some work on one of the boxes down the street or something. And
for some reason, transformers are blowing in Playa, Tulum, everywhere.
Yeah.
Power's going out right and left.
It's all these damn tourists coming in town. They got to build all these new buildings.
Loading it up.
That's good. And then what else happened? Oh, then about to start again, the water guy calls.
Yep. He's like, hey, I'm here. I'm downstairs. Okay, great.
Yeah, so,
I mean, I did call these people, but usually people are not punctual.
No, yeah.
Times.
And so then we had to go, get our water filled because we get our water delivered. Mm-hmm. And then about to start the podcast again, get a call. Hey, can you come pick up this cube shelf? Mm-hmm. And then our neighbor was selling one of these cubey kind of things, like a storage type of deal.
And I want it.
Yeah.
I want it.
So then we had to go get that in the rain because then it was raining by that point. And I mean, even though we would think we'd have more free time down here, we don't because these little Mexico things happen all the time.
You can't plan a lot in Mexico. You can a general day or couple day window, but the hours, we'll see you when we see you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's hard to make a schedule because all these things just pop up and people. Even you and I were like, what did we do today? I was like, well, we got up, went to the gym, and then all these other fucking things happened, and now it's 5:00 and it's time for dinner.
That's why we usually, if we're recording or something, I mean, normally we don't wait till the very last minute, but it definitely works out better if you plan ahead.
Yes, definitely. So this is actually from when we were in Texas, and I didn't get to it last podcast, but I couldn't remember exactly what the story was. There was something about purple shampoo. And
yes.
When we were staying at our friend's place in Dallas, what was she telling you about this purple shampoo? Because I used it and I wasn't really sure what was going on. So tell me about it.
Did you feel different or anything? Did your hair look different? Was it prettier, nicer, softer?
Well, I did grow these beautiful blonde locks. It was very strange.
Yes.
They fell out the next day.
So my friend Sarah, she was dying laughing. She realized, that bathroom we were using, she uses that
to get ready
in the morning because her husband's going. He's a pilot, so they have different schedules sometimes. So she just noticed, oh my God, I didn't have normal shampoo in there, and Nate probably used my purple shampoo. It's for her color treatment, so she gets blonde, different highlights in her hair, and for some reason, I'm not a blonde girl, the purple balances out the blonde. It makes it not get that brassy or orange look. It keeps it nice and pretty blonde.
Right.
So not that it's going to do anything to your hair because your hair is not treated, color treated. So but it's kind of pricey. So I think she was probably like, eat. And I was like, don't worry. He probably used a smidge.
Yeah, I have minimal hair, so
Yes.
I don't have big, long,
Yeah, she's got lots of hair, so it's a hot commodity there. I was like, don't worry about it. But she was dying laughing. He's probably like, what the fuck is this purple shampoo?
Yeah, well, I didn't think of anything of it at first because a lot of times girl shampoo is different colors for some reason. It might be like a baby blue or a pearl or something like that. So I saw that, and it was in a purple bottle, and then it came out purple. I was like, it must be, kind of, or even guys' body wash. What is the Old Spice? The body wash is like that blue, like that deep blue. So I just thought, oh, it's just purple. And then when I put it in my hair, it was like all the foam was purple, and it was like the whole shower was purple. So I was like, fuck, I thought I used a hair dye actually. So I was like freaking out getting out of the shower thinking I'm going to have fucking purple ass hair.
That would have been awesome if you did.
But so no, it was fine. I didn't really notice anything different. I was just worried because it was so purple, and I was like, oh God, is it going to stain the shower or what's going on here?
I think that's how she noticed there was kind of like purple foam kind of on the shower, like the side of the shower. She's like, oh, poor Nate. He's probably freaking out.
Oh yeah, no, I was just worried I ruined something, but I'm glad I didn't. So,
you're good. Yeah, you're learning more and more girl tricks as you get older.
Yeah,
that you didn't know.
That is true. Well, this is not really like, we don't normally cover like news and stuff unless it happens in Mexico or whatever. But these are just two like kind of big things that had happened recently. So I thought we could discuss a tad. O.J. Simpson dying.
R.I.P.
Yeah. And do you say that? Then that's kind of what I was wondering is like, I feel like it was a very hard thing for people to like wrap their head around of how to respond to it. Because even my mom, I was like, I said, oh, O.J. Simpson died or whatever. And she was like, well, I never really want to wish ill will on anyone, but shrug, it's like,
how do you react to that?
Yeah, and I think it's more so because he was found innocent, even though most people think that he was guilty.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard for people to, figure out what to do. So like my dad said, he was like, dang. I was like, dang. It's like, this dude killed his wife and her boyfriend or whatever, like really horrifyingly, it's like just terrible. So, I mean, I'm under the impression he did it. Like you don't flee and like that slow speed chase or whatever that was on television. It's like, infamous now. You're not running away like that if you didn't do it.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't think you would,
Especially in that time frame, that era. Like your dad's probably thinking of OJ as like the football player.
Right. Or the actor.
He probably thinks of that when he thinks of him because he's not very into pop culture type of things. I'm sure he knows about the murder and all that, but he's probably going to that. The rest of us are like, I couldn't imagine though. I hope like he had some proof if he didn't do it, like to finally like clear his name or something. I hope something's found that like, oh, he didn't do it. Or on the other side, proof to say that we did, like he wrote a note like, I did do it. I couldn't take it to the grave. Or maybe he's just like, nope, taking it to the grave.
Well, I don't know if you remember this, but he literally wrote a book called If I Did It and talked about it as if he did it, I think. Like I didn't read the book, so I don't know. But it was like, yeah, right. So, yeah, it doesn't look good, but
doesn't look good. I mean, we watch a lot of those murder mystery shows, and a lot of the people that you're like, yeah, there is reasonable doubt, and they still send them to prison for their entire lives. It depends what state you're in and what's going on at the time, I guess. But I just couldn't imagine going through that. He's probably so happy to just be like resting in peace now with all the bullshit.
Yeah, I doubt he is because he's down there. If hell even exists, he has to be there. I think.
Yes.
But it's probably similar to like Michael Jackson. There's still a lot of people that are very big Michael Jackson fans, even though he wasn't found guilty. I think the general consensus of society believes that he did do something creepy with some children.
Yeah.
But they still play his music and, whatever. So I guess, are you supposed to separate the person from the craft, like?
I guess, like, the whole world loves Michael Jackson before all that started coming out. So maybe it's like how much you love that celebrity before the issue happened, because there's lots of people now that are getting caught, touching little kids and things, but they're like businessmen or whatever. You're like, oh, you deserve it. Go to jail, whatever. No one's supporting them. So I don't know. Maybe it's like the how much you love them before the shit goes down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's just like the what was that show we watched with the Nickelodeon guy?
Oh,
or
yeah.
the different guys or whatever, and all those celebrities that wrote letters,
Yeah.
like in support of the dude that was, molesting. Was it Drake?
Yeah.
Drake Bell?
Drake, yeah.
Yeah.
Drake Bell. That
Um,
was a good series to watch.
and
but-
I think with that last one, like kind of the update episode, they came back and some of them were like, we didn't know. He just wrote us a letter saying like, hey, can you come support me? And now, I know what's going on. But a lot of them didn't. And you think you would come out and say,
yeah.
I did not know what was going on at the time. I was just told to support my friend.
Right.
It's very weird that a lot of them are keeping quiet.
It is weird, but at the same time, I feel like the people that they were showing that like, oh, I did write this letter, but I don't really support him now that I see what happened. They were all kids then. You're having like 15-year-olds, let's say they're even 21. You're having 21-year-olds like back you up. You're an adult that's running this entire empire.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are backing you up. Like, he didn't touch me, but I don't know about Drake.
But I think that's from his defense. That looks good. We're like, well, these are also kids that I worked with, and they're not saying that. So
True.
maybe this guy's lying or whatever. But
True.
I mean, it's the same thing with was it Danny Masterson from that 70s show?
Oh,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
all wrote letters and came in defense of him. And I can almost understand it at first if you were friends with them. Like, if one of those things was being said about our friend, you might be like, no, there's no way that they would have done this. I will support this person. But once like the evidence comes out, wouldn't you be like, all right, maybe I should not have done that?
Yeah, even if it was like a really good friend, I'd be like, can I wait a minute to sign this letter for you? Like,
Yeah,
see
what
what's
do you
going
do
on?
if a friend came to you? I guess it depends on what information is out there. Like
Right.
if there's information out there that you're pretty sure that they did something shitty,
Right.
I don't know how I would tell them I wouldn't, but I definitely wouldn't do it just because I was friends with it or write them a letter,
I mean, like, if it's my bestie, I'm signing the letter. I'm going to, like, work with them, work through it, figure it out together. But if it's just, like, an acquaintance or another friend, I'd be like, I'm going to wait on that.
Yeah. Well, and then the other, it's not really a news story, but the SNL skit this weekend with Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, my God. So funny. That was probably the best SNL in a lot. I mean, this whole season's been great, but that was, like, the best.
People
one in
still
a
hate
long
on
time.
SNL because I don't like it got
Why?
because it got well at first it was stale for a while for the they just kind of had people that weren't, I don't know, there wasn't anything that really stood out, but then I feel like it's been great, and then, they get political and stuff like that, but if you really watch SNL, like of course they made fun of Trump and stuff like that, but they make fun of Biden just as much now.
Yeah.
Like people just thought it was a very left-leaning show or whatever, but it's proven now that they make fun of everyone.
Yeah.
They go back and forth.
And
so
they even say that. They're like, it's so easy. Why wouldn't we make fun of everybody?
Yeah,
Everybody's hilarious.
exactly. But who's the host?
Oh, Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody loves him as the host or whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I wasn't a fan of him. Like he's, great actor or whatever, but he cracks in every skit.
Mhm.
He laughed in every single one. And it's funny now and then when they, they can't hold it in anymore and they start laughing.
I love that.
But I don't want to see him, like, you're a professional actor, like,
Mhm.
hold it in at least one skit. Every skit he kind of fucked up a little bit, but
Sure.
but a lot of people like that in him. They're like, he's the greatest because everybody cracks when he's there. I was like, yeah, because he's laughing the whole fucking time, and it's hard not to laugh when somebody else is laughing.
Exactly.
But this Beavis and Butthead skit with I don't know, I can't remember the dude's name. He's kind of one of those forgettable characters.
He's the cake.
Yeah,
He's
is
the
it cake? And I'm sorry, he's a terrible host for that show. Like that show's the funny because of that show, but he doesn't add to it, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
I don't know who else I would want hosting that
Yeah, I
show
don't-
because it's an odd show to
Yeah, I
begin
guess
with.
you have to be a goofy, host anyway. But
he does his best.
he got in like a kind of almost like an argument with one of the contestants because he was trying to make fun of them because he doesn't really know how to do that right, and they started making fun of him back, and he got kind of pissed, and it was
Oh.
an awkward back and forth.
I didn't see that. one.
But it was him, and he was Butthead, and Ryan Gosling was Beavis,
Mhm.
and I think it's Heidi. I don't recall her last name, and she's the one that broke.
Gardner.
Is that
Heidi Gardner. Yeah.
her breaking that much was fucking hilarious?
She was fine, and then she turns around.
Yeah.
Like, "Mm,
And she has her hand up, and she's just like,
stop it.
and she just can't hold it in, and that was fucking
She
hilarious.
has that huge smile too. I love it.
Yeah, so I definitely enjoy when they do break, but I'm just impressed that they're able to pull it back together and then still remember their lines.
Oh yeah, all of it. And I mean, Ryan Gosling, he's hot, but is he a great actor? I mean, I've seen him in a shit ton of
Yeah.
movies. he doesn't really stand out to me.
Nah.
He's a good-looking dude.
Yeah,
with
for sure.
abs.
But
Cool.
yeah, but you're right, because even in the skits that he was like, even his Beavis wasn't very. Oh, I'm sorry. Like I know he wasn't supposed to sound just like Beavis,
Yeah.
but he didn't like deliver his lines very like confidently, I guess. I mean, who am I to talk? I'm no actor.
I
but-
would have been cracking up the whole time. I would
Yeah.
never. And he's more of a movie drama actor, so maybe he's not used to that, and that's why at least they know it. They say it. We know he breaks character all the time. Come on back, people love it. It's different. Like
Yeah.
the last weekend, we always watch that show and go, how can you not laugh? And these people are in each other's faces, so you get a little bit of both.
Yeah. But it's been great. And I think somebody mentioned they might have some newer writers, and that would make sense because it's very, the skits they're still intelligent, but very obscure.
Yeah.
Like who thought, hey, how about we have an AI generate or, an AI conversation, but then we'll have Beavis and Butthead in the background. Like that's
Right?
so random. Like you have to be almost somebody our age
Yes.
to get, because who talks about Beavis and Butthead anymore? And then AI is very, current. So somebody has to be in their like 30s, 40s, mid 40s or something.
I feel like it's definitely
the
like a
writers.
millennial group coming through, and maybe the old writers are retiring, and then they're getting some new influence to keep current and not just be all politics. So
Yeah.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like the rhythm.
Oh yeah, it's been great. So you had a twerking class?
Twerkin?
Is that twerking?
Twerkin?
Yeah.
Isn't that a song? Do-do-do-do-do.
Whistle while you twerk.
There you go. That's it. I couldn't think of any of those songs. But yes, my good friend and our neighbor, Carla, she owns a studio, like a female fitness studio that has like bar and Pilates.
Oh, they got a bar there.
But Barre,
Oh,
like
okay.
the ballet kind of bar class.
No,
Yeah.
not as good.
There is a bar close by.
Oh, good. That's my kind of bar.
But they have all that kind of stretch, yoga, all those things. Now she's implementing this twerk class, which is hilarious. You've probably seen that. Maybe you haven't. I've seen them on social media,
I
like
have
on
not.
Instagram. A lot of
Not
places.
since my club days.
I think it's like the new phase when everybody was doing like the pole dance classes,
Right,
to
right.
like work out and whatever. Now it's the twerking. Let me tell you, this was the most fun I've ever had working out. Zumba, biking, any of it. This was the most fun. I laughed. We're bonding. A bunch of women. It was hilarious.
Yeah. I saw some videos. It looked like there was an exorcism going on.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of flopping around and humping and
First, she takes us in, and you got to stretch because she's like, I don't know how limber you guys are. There's girls there doing splits. This is a beginner class, but there's definitely, advanced people there. You can tell, like, from the different bodies and stuff. Oh, you're a dancer. You work out. You don't work out. Whatever. It was every kind of person, every kind of woman in between,
yeah.
just
Oh,
there.
and I could see the difference in generations maybe because some girls were being very sexual and sexy, and then you get out there like you're at the fucking the Roxy in 1999, just bop 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 bop, breaking it down.
I was and there were like some mom ages there, all different kinds of ages. But that's what I was saying to my friend. It was on a Monday too. I mean, my friend Fasana, get up, let's go. It was at 8 p.m. We went. We had the best time because just for that, we're in the 35, 40 age range, but there were younger girls there, and you could tell the difference of songs. Like when the 90s kind of like booty shaking songs came on, I'm like, I know this song. I used to go to the club and dance to this. And then there's other ones like Bad Bunny and current stuff, and they're doing their little TikTok dances, and I'm out for that. I don't know that one.
Well, get up. Let me see what you learned.
Oh gosh. Well, she did. Here, let me do a little.
Let's see that booty work. Booty work. Oh shoot, I got this too. Hang on. All right, let's do it. Who's doing it better? Oh,
I did say, I said, my husband and I are always dancing and booty shaking all the time anyway. So this isn't new to us, but it was a really fun time. The best part about it was when we first got there, we did the little warm up stretch, and you could tell who's nervous and who's not. It's like the white girl side and the Latina side.
Yeah.
So whatever, we know they're going to show us up, and we do the warm up and everything. And then the instructor's like, everyone get in a circle. We're going to freestyle, say your name, and then shake your booty. And we're all like, what? She's like, no nerves in this class, no judgment, no nothing. Get out there and everybody just do your thing. So she calls my friend Fasana first, and she's like, oh, fuck. And then she goes, you go next. And I'm like, great. So I'm just like channeling. I was thinking about my Greek heritage, like the Greek dancing, like woo. And then I'm thinking of like my 90s, 80s, 90s life of booty
Right.
shaking at the clubs, 2000s, whatever, like just getting it down. I'm so sorry I went first because then everyone else showed us up, but it was really good. Everybody's high-fiving, and it was a really fun time.
Yeah, it
I
looked
made
like-
new friends, too.
Yeah, it looked like fun. That was great. I'm glad you did it. That's awesome.
We'll be back. We actually...
Oh, is it girls only?
I don't know. I'm sure boys could twerk their booties, too,
Yeah.
you know?
This boy can.
It might just be for women right now, but I'm sure. I told
No,
them
I
that, too.
understand
I
that.
was like, my husband can move. They also did a raffle at the end, though, like 300 pesos. You get 2 tickets, and you can win one of their outfits, and you can get some free classes. So hope I'm a winner.
Nice,
We'll
nice.
see.
Good luck. Good luck. Oh, shoot. Well, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, why don't Canadians understand move-out dates?
That was a drastic change.
I know. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about it, but
Off the subject.
because okay, so let's explain.
Yes.
So obviously,
we have a lot of Canadian friends now.
yeah. Well, okay, so like at least this is just one thing, but like in our building,
Mhm.
the leases are 6 months usually. You can do 6 months or a year. Those are like the 2 leases.
Yep.
They're not like vacation homes where you just get a
Right.
week or whatever.
No time for that.
Yeah.
here.
So there's a lot of Canadians, there's Americans, there's Mexicans, there's South Americans, couple people
Europeans.
from the UK,
Yeah.
or there's a few Russians I think that have lived here or lived here. But when you move out, so like okay, so let's say you signed January 1 for a lease.
Mhm.
When do you think you would move out? The date.
Uh,
I mean, it would obviously be in June, but like what date would you think you move out?
I guess it would be
At the end, towards the end of June, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like June 30. Was there 31st in June? No, 30.
30.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. How many days are in August or June? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would think. Normally, like you pay on the 1st,
Mhm.
and that's to cover you for the following month. So then,
You pay before you play.
Yeah.
That's how I've always learned.
but for some reason, all of our Canadian friends think that when you move out on the 1st,
Right.
they're like, well, I should have till the 1st. That's how it is in Canada. And then we're like, no. So if you pay, let's just say it's a month.
Mhm.
April 1st, you move out the last day of April.
Mhm.
You don't move out May 1st
Right.
because that's when, just as when your lease started or whatever, on the 1st of the month, that's when someone else is going to start. So they can't move in the day that you're moving out. You have to move out the day before.
Right.
And they might need time to clean the place or whatever. So doesn't that make sense?
What I think gets confusing too, because some people pay rent on the 1st here, and like us, we pay on the 15th because that's
Right.
when we moved in. So I always think of it, whatever day you started paying rent, we paid on the 15th. You're not going to pay again on the 15th. Like you move out before the 15th of the following month. That's 30 days.
Yeah.
So why you would think you'd move out the day of, I don't know. And especially thinking ahead, I'm moving out, someone else is moving in.
Right.
When would they move in? The 1st or the 15th? So you can't be there on the 15th if someone is moving in on the 15th.
Right.
And let me say, it must be wonderful renting in Canada because it sounds like
They-
rent is awesome. They don't worry about moving out. They don't have deposits or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's
or-
the other thing that a lot of them think that you get the deposit like the second you move out.
Yeah.
And even in the US it's not like that.
No.
Like you
It's like a week or two.
I think there's like a law that says like, oh, you have to receive your deposit by this time. Actually, that's how we fought our old company and got our money back.
Lawyer Nate.
Yeah, because they
Lawyer
did,
up.
because they didn't tell us the charges and give us a chance to respond to those charges in a timely manner. It was like 30 days or something. They were like 2 months or
Yeah,
something.
they were slacking.
But yeah, they're like thinking here, it's like you get it back right away. No, they usually like the reason for the deposit is to cover any things that you might have damaged, something,
Incidentals.
something significant. Well, when you move out, they don't have like the maintenance guy there. I mean, I know you are supposed to do a walkthrough and everything like that,
Yeah.
but they're not going to sit there and write the things down and be like, okay, we're going to subtract this. Okay, here's the difference. Like they have to go back and assess how much is this going to cost? How much rent do we take out? So like you don't
Right.
get it right there.
It would be amazing if you did.
Yeah.
We would have had a lot more money quicker back in the day. But yeah, I mean,
Even like with like rent in the U.S., like do you get it in a check? We were talking about the other, like
we would always get it in a check mailed to us. Where's your new address? Because they'd ask, where are you moving? Where do you want the check to be sent to? And they'll mail it, like 10 days, 10 to 14 business days, whatever. You're not getting it in cash, and you're not getting it that day.
Or you even look at like a hotel. Let's say you book the weekend, Friday through Sunday. That doesn't mean you get all of Sunday.
Right.
Sunday is when you move out,
right,
or where you leave, so someone else can come in.
Got to turn it over for the next person.
Yeah, so it's like, it's just weird. I mean, there must be a great like renting laws there. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we should go to Canada for a little bit and rent a place.
Seems like
See how
it.
it goes.
Oh shoot. Well, Lex, you've been working an Airbnb management job,
yes,
right?
I got a new job, part-time right now, but it's going great.
Yeah. And so you are kind of the face of the messaging for these properties. So like people own these properties in Tulum, and then they hire this company, management company to manage it.
Yeah.
So part of that is responding to the message, like move-in instructions, like move-out instructions, like giving tips and tricks to whoever's staying there, like, oh, this is a great restaurant down the street. So you're kind of like a concierge almost.
Yes, that's exactly what we say too. I am your, us co-hosts are your concierges. Let us know if you need anything. It's a little higher of a price point to rent some of these places, so even better customer service. You know?
Yeah, not higher because of you guys.
Oh no,
but because it's Tulum, and Tulum's hot right now, and so
the area,
it's
and
expensive.
These are brand new, gorgeous townhomes that are just like you saw them, all glass windows and beautiful granite countertops and little plunge pools, all the bougie, Tulumi stuff that people want.
So you probably have some stories from these people, because it might surprise you, but people, even traveling to another country, you think they'd be a little travel savvy.
You think?
Are not.
Not the case.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you've dealt with these renters or Airbnbers?
Also, too, we've had people. It's not just like one specific country. We've had people from all over.
Oh, for sure.
Germany, France, Mexico, America, Canada, all over. Everyone's equally as confused, which is insane to me, because the owners of these properties are very specific. They have beautiful guidebooks, lots of maybe too much information for these guests, but enough information where we would probably never talk to the co-hosts or ask any questions. Everything's there. If you need us, though, whatever. But we had this one, 2 women come, and it's kind of a little bit of a rocky start. I think they had like a delay with their flight, and the delay, it delayed everything throughout the day. They finally got there. Everything's going fine. And then the next morning they're like, hey, the water pressure seems really low. We don't know what's going on. Sometimes that affects, like when the electricity goes out, a lot of water pumps here are electric. So if the power goes out, water's going out.
Yeah, most of the places like that, unless they have the cisterns on the top of the house or whatever.
Yeah,
but
like the gravity.
But most of them, yeah, it's like if the water is under the building or whatever, you need a pump to put it up into the house and into all the pipes and everything. How do you think that works?
Yep.
What do you think runs it? We don't got some coati or some fucking monkeys out there doing a little wheel.
Like a little hamster wheel. Beep, 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 beep. But yeah, that's another thing here too. When people come and stay at our building and the power goes out, there's no water either. I guess, at home, we don't think about that. Water and power are separate, but here it's the same.
And to be fair, we did not know that either.
Right.
But to not be fair, that's common sense.
Yes.
If the power goes out and the water stops working, put 2 together.
What do you think
is the issue?
Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
So
anyway, back to the Tulum people. So they message us the next morning and they're like, hey, we're going out for an excursion. Can you send the maintenance? There's a problem. The shower's really slow and the toilets won't flush. And she's like, and we couldn't figure out what was hot or cold. They thought like the hot temperature of the shower wasn't working. So they didn't know, like in Mexico, it's caliente and frío. So hot and cold, just like at home. Hot's on the left, cold's on the right, but it's got the different abbreviations. So I guess if you don't know Spanish, then you wouldn't know that.
Which also, I will say I was a dumbass when I started coming here in high school, because I thought one was Fahrenheit and one was Celsius.
How would that make sense?
I don't know.
I need a little Celsius water. Nah, I'm going back to Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I don't know. I was in high school. I didn't really know.
Pick your water wherever you're from.
Yeah.
I love it. So my manager sends the maintenance guy, and actually I think he went too. He was over there doing something with the pool, and he messages me back and goes, "You're never gonna fucking believe this. 2 adult grown women," he goes, "I assume they are mothers because they were talking about their children, couldn't figure out how to flush the toilet. The toilet flushes, but they couldn't figure it out." I was like blown away. It's one of those new toilets, the little button on top, the little button, and it's got the line with like 1 drop, 2 drops. Like
one's for like number 1, number 1 is for poopies.
Exactly.
Or number 2 is for poopies.
The first one uses less water. If you just peed, then it's less water. Couldn't figure that out. I don't know what they thought. Like there was no handle, or it would just flush automatically when they were there, like at the airport or something.
So weird.
But they were like, he had to tell them, "You got to push the button." They were so embarrassed. They were like, "Oh my God." They had stuff in the potty. All 3 toilets had stuff in them.
Oh my God. Oh, gross. But isn't that just common sense? Like, okay, so there is not a lever here, but there's a button. What do I do?
Yeah.
I
would be pushing stuff,
push
lifting
the button.
lid. Like, I'm not calling anybody. Can you come flush
Or
my poop?
did they have very strict parents and they're like, "You never press buttons, you don't know what they do."
True. Could be dangerous. I don't know.
Oh, the files are in the computer.
Yes. But oh my God. Then we had these other people. They had like the power went out for them too. They had some really bad luck in Tulum recently, but everything seems to be worked out. Power went out, Wi-Fi went out, water went out. So we'd explain all that again. Then they're like asking for a wine opener. They had bought a bunch of wine at the grocery store. There wasn't a wine opener there. There's like a beer bottle opener, but no wine, like cork wine opener. So we brought them one of those. And then they're like kept asking. They were really nice too. These people were so nice. Kept asking questions every step of the way. And then like last thing, they're like, "We know we've been a bother and we hate to message you this. We broke your key. We broke your key in the door."
Oh God. How does that even happen?
They have in Mexico also, to be fair, keys are ridiculous here. Sometimes we've stayed at Airbnbs and they give you 3 or 4 different keys, and they're like those long skeleton keys.
Yeah, one's like from the Pirates of the Caribbean, another one's like just a stick.
Oh,
some of them look like they're for a BMW. Like,
yes,
yeah, it's weird.
A lot of these, so that's how those ones are. They have one of those big old like wrought iron gates that it's like the long key to put in. They go boop, just broke right in half. They couldn't get in. We called the neighbors. They let them in. It's just fun. And I love it. My boss right now, he's, a little more cynical, but he has a great sense of humor. So he's just like talking about people like, stupid people, this and that or whatever. And I'm just laughing. I'm like, I missed customer service. These people are hilarious. And he's like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
My favorite are the ones that complain about leaves in the pool and they want the water drained and refilled. And it's like, no.
Do you know how precious water is in Mexico?
And also, it's like nobody does any research where they're going. Okay, first of all, Tulum, whatever. But look at the pictures on the Airbnb. These places are in the jungle.
In the jungle.
Leaves fall off of the trees. It doesn't matter how many times we can clean it. You clean it right before they come. Leaves are going to fall in it. That's just a fucking thing. It doesn't mean it's dirty. It just means there's some fucking leaves in it. Pick them out.
Exactly. A couple of people are like, "Oh, the pool's looking a little murky, this and that." And then we chime in like, it literally was just cleaned. These are like natural plunge pools. So they're not a huge normal pool and they're not a tiny little bath. It's a good size. You could fit a couple people in it, but it's like natural water. It's not going to be, purified, whatever.
It's purified. But it's...
Right. Not like crystal clear bath water is what I'm trying to say. It's clear, but there's some leaves, there's some foliage, things happen and you just try and do your best. But people want us to drain the entire pool, which will take hours.
There's the audacity of some of these questions. I can't imagine going like, honey, message the host and see if they'll just drain it. I mean, there's 4 leaves in the pool. That's disgusting. I mean, like, what the fuck?
And that's like that's our selling point on Airbnb. Very remote, jungle, all these things, like all the things, the trees. You can make it a very serene, peaceful, private vacation, or you're also close enough where you can get on a scooter or grab a taxi and go into town. So it's like that's the selling point. But people are like, some people are just like, there's a lot of trees here and a lot of leaves and bugs. And we're like, yeah, you're in the fucking jungle.
Yeah, like legitimately. Or the people that complain that they had nothing for their kids to do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you picked it. Like these places, like we live, quote unquote, in the jungle where we are in Playa, but we live in the city in the jungle.
Right.
These are actually in the jungle. Like
Actually
you
in the
have to
jungle.
drive down a gravel road into, like, you're in the sticks.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's nothing for our kids to do. It's like, did you not look at the photos?
Leave
Like,
them at home then.
yeah, but like, look at the photos. And sorry, I know people will probably disagree with me.
Yeah.
Tulum isn't the place for children.
No.
Like there's not really anything for them to do there other than go to the beach, which you can do anywhere.
Right.
Like Tulum is more, it's kind of like that Tuluminati chic, and it's expensive and secluded or whatever, but it's more of an adults type of trip.
Of
You're
course.
either like some EDM head, or you just want to get away, or you have a bunch of money. Like those are kind of the people that typically go to Tulum, in my opinion.
Right. Right.
So yeah, leave the kids at home, or just, but also if your kids can't play in the jungle, how are you raising your kids? I grew up fucking playing in the woods, tree houses and creeks and shit. Like,
oh yeah, and it's beautiful all over there. It's all manicured and really nice too. And they're like, those people with the kids were complaining like, oh, they only have this plunge pool. When you booked this place, did you see like, the Hilton with a giant pool and a bunch of kids like fucking around playing with floaty toys and stuff? No. You see one plunge pool with like a couple in it, like, ooh, with, their drinks and tacos and things like that, whatever. You don't see a bunch of kids like roughhousing and playing. And it's pretty quiet back there too. And people want it to be quiet.
yeah, it's like supposed to be serene and whatnot. But, and then the other one was like some guy wanted to check in early, which, doesn't hurt to ask, I guess.
You can always ask.
But you said go to this, so you couldn't. So down the street was this hotel that had like a lobby bar or some type of restaurant or something.
Restaurant.
And so you had to tell him about that. And then he messaged you back and like, oh, it's closed. I'm like, how are you traveling to another country and you can't jump on your phone or just fucking walk around and find another place?
Yeah,
like, just, okay, what do you want me to do about it? Do you want me to, I guess they want you to recommend another one. You're trying to kill an hour, find a fucking place and grab a drink. Like, what happened to us? Like, you can't be an international traveler if you don't have some kind of like sensibility of how to like, find things yourself, I guess.
Agreed. And that guy was really, really nice. He was just, I just think he wasn't well traveled. Some of these people have never been out of the country, and I think they pick Mexico as like, oh, it's close, it's cheap, it's safe, whatever. But then they come here and they have no idea what to do. This guy this morning was just like, we're like, hey, we always ask, how are you getting to and from the airport safely? There's no Uber in Quintana Roo right now. We can suggest taxis or whatever. And they're just like, oh, didn't even think about it. Well, you probably should. It's about an hour and a half away from Cancun, the airport, 2 hours. How are you going to get here? And they're just like, just grab an Uber. There's no Uber here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're and I'm probably a little more on edge about it because you're you plan everything. Here's our ride. Here's this, here's that. And even if we don't have something planned, we kind of have like a side plan of what we've planned on coming here before we knew about Uber, like, oh, we'll just grab an Uber. But we also had a backup plan, like the bus or taxi or something.
But you have to be like, look where you're going. Yeah. You're going to Tulum. It's like an hour and 45 minutes from Cancun.
Yeah.
So it's an hour and 45 minutes away. That's like booking a trip to Tampa and flying into Orlando and being like, I don't know, I guess I'll figure it out. It's like, what if you're staying that like an hour and 45 minutes away from the airport, figure it out.
Yes. And we're very polite about it. Like, oh, no worries, this and that.
Yeah, but I can't imagine like staying at a Red Roof Inn and calling them up and being like, oh yeah, the Denny's you told me about? It's closed. Do you have any other recommendations? Like, is there a Hardee's nearby or something? Like,
well, we are not the Red Roof Inn.
No, I know, but I just mean like I can't imagine staying at a place and calling them for more recommendations when you're surrounded by places.
I feel like we're that crutch, when you're like with kids, like, oh, let them learn on their own. When they ask questions, how do you think you should do that? How do you think? We're already their crutch. We're like hitting them from before they get there. Yeah. Hey, we're your co-host. Let us know if you need anything. Here's some things that we think you would like based on what you told us, what you want to do here, A, B, and C. But then at the same time, some people overly ask. Some people we don't hear from, and that freaks me out. I'm like, are you alive? Are you doing okay? Is there any issues? I'll follow up. But some of these people are just like, oh, didn't even think about it.
And also, I wasn't really thinking about it, but these are kind of higher end places.
Right.
And although people that have money typically have been hard workers or they figured it out or have a business or whatever, a lot of times the most successful people are the laziest, most inept people ever because they're so used to just paying other people to do things
I'll
for
just
them.
Pay someone to do
Yeah, I'll just have them do that. Oh, this person usually does this for me or whatever. So they might not be used to doing things for themselves anymore, which is kind of weird that when people get to the certain statuses that they got there by busting their ass and working hard, but they like got to this point where they can't do any of the stuff that they did to get there anymore because they're not used to it.
But this is like common sense stuff.
True.
I could see like, oh, okay, you have money. You don't want to go do your own laundry, send it out or have someone clean your place or whatever. But at the same time, this is common sense stuff. There's how should you flush the toilet? Come on, mom, like figure that out.
Yeah.
Even if I've never seen one of those new toilets, which you don't see those a lot, I would go, oh, there's a button on top. Let me try this. You know, I wouldn't just leave my poop in the toilet.
No. Like my cousin's toilet, it actually did take me a minute to figure it out because there was a little ball on the top. Do you remember that? Remember those remember those candies that were like woo woo?
The little whistle.
Yeah. That's how the toilet was. There was a ball on top and you pulled it up and it like there's a metal rod that came up to you and you're like woo. And so I think it was lifting up the little stopper when you were doing that.
Oh my
but
God.
I didn't just sit there and not do anything. I was like, let me fucking tinker around with this thing, see if I can figure it out. Shoot. So, I'm sure we'll have some more stories because
we're going to have some good
I hear
ones.
about them.
We got a whole slew of people coming. It's going to be great.
And speaking of stories, so yeah, this coming weekend or this weekend, we have a mezcal tasting that we're going to in Tulum.
Mm-hmm.
We also have our last Interplaya soccer match tonight, home match. So that should be fun. And then tomorrow is 420. So
I know you're excited.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a 420 party. I mean, basically, we're just going up to our pool. We're gonna, roll a bunch of joints, eat some edibles, have some snacks, invite some people over. And actually, I think our friend Gina, who I used to work with at the radio station in Atlanta, her husband's Brian, the engineer there. And she's on a girls' trip to Cancun. Her and her girlfriends might come down.
That'll be so exciting.
Yeah, and she's actually on that show. What's the Netflix show?
Love on a Spectrum.
Love on the Spectrum. Love on the Spectrum.
Yeah.
And she runs that. Was it like speed dating?
Yeah.
For people on the spectrum. Really great show. Like we're hooked on it. We've already killed the 2 seasons. We're waiting for him to make a third one. But anyway, so she's coming down. So that should be fun to see somebody from home. And
I always call her Gina the Flamingo because when we were at one of Bailey's famous Halloween parties, she was there in one of those giant blow up flamingo. And I don't think I had met her prior to that. I heard you talking about her when you worked at the station, but the flamingo, I was drawn to her immediately. I love your costume. So I always remember her Gina, Flamingo Gina.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, your brother is coming down for even though his birthday was, like a week or so ago.
Monday. Don't scare me. Sundays are down.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Monday. Correct. Yeah, he's coming in on Monday. And they're what are they going to some music festival in
Music
Cancun?
festival in Canada. Wow. In Cancun the weekend after that. But he's going to come Monday through Friday with a couple of his buddies, girls and boys, a mix of girls and boys. And we're going to have to show some 30-year-olds around.
Yeah, which will be fun. But also, they're renting my parents' place next door, and 4 of them are staying in a studio with 1 bed. So we will see how that goes. We've told them over and over again that's not a good idea. But I guess, hey, if they're a big EDM festival people, and if they're used to sleeping in a tent with 3 or 4 people, maybe it'll be fine. I don't know.
He said, we don't care. We just want to go to the beach and the pool. We'll probably barely be in there just to, probably just to sleep. And it's totally fine.
Cool.
Like, all right. Well, if it all set for you.
And this is your other twin brother that has not been down here yet. So it'll be fun to show him around.
Yeah. My brother Eric came with his girlfriend Pebbles. So now Alex is coming. And for people that don't know, I have 2 twin brothers that look nothing alike. They are fraternal, so it'll be great.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have plenty of stories next week.
So many stories, I'm sure.
So
he said he wants it to be a chill week, so we'll see what that means.
Yeah, see what that means for how's it, 30? Yeah, 30.
He just turned 30, but I think his friends are in their 20s, mid-late 20s, which is fine. Yeah. None of them have been out of the country. Oof. He's the only one that's been, especially to Mexico before. So we're going to be doing a lot of, this is what you do.
Yeah, we got to remember to remind them, or we got to tell them how sometimes when people fly in with iPhones, they got to turn off their cellular data, or whatever it is, so that they can get text messages and stuff. So
yeah, I think he does have an iPhone too. What to remind of that.
Yeah. So anyway, gonna be a good show next week as well. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, iTunes, Google Podcasts at Hansons on Hiatus. and you can support the podcast. We really appreciate anything you feel you would like to donate. 1 beer, 2 beers, 5 beers. buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on hiatus. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Smoke them if you got them. Happy 420 and happy Friday, fuckers.
Happy Friday, fuckies.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now. Bye.